Hey, what's up my peoples? I'm back with another video review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts R2-D2 and C-3PO. So here we are, and there they are, and first and foremost, as always, we're going to take a quick look at the packaging. So we'll take a quick look at C-3POs. So right up front here, you have the Star Wars logo, SH Figuarts, and a bio about what SH Figuarts is all about. So if you want to read that, go right ahead. So you can just have a quick read of that. C-3PO, this is the A New Hope version. He is from Bandai and Tamashii Nations. Bandai 2017, made in China. And, I knocked him over. But, Star Wars, C3, and then you have the SH Figuarts bio again. C-3PO, New Hope, SH Figuarts. And then a bunch of legalese at the bottom, stuff like warning. Some of the joints are tighter than others, so just be careful on that. On this side here, you got a nice image of 3PO along with the Figuarts bio, Disney, Figuarts, Star Wars, 3PO, all that kind of stuff. And on the back here, well, up top, not much. On the back, you got some really cool shots of 3PO. You got the faceplate options, the comlink, some of the bio, or not bios, but well, I'm sure there are bios, but you got the product shots, and then some more warnings, like warning if you get this figure along with R2, if you have them together for a certain amount of time, they may bicker on the shelf. So there you have that. And there is 3PO's packaging. So we'll set that off to the side, and we'll take a look at R2's packaging, which is a bit thicker because, R2 is a bit thicker in terms of his body, because, his body is basically it's a cylinder. Basically, it's a big cylinder. So obviously, compared to 3PO, it's going to be a bit thicker, which I don't mind. I mean, astromechs are going to be a bit thicker. So again, Star Wars, Figuarts bio, R2-D2, A New Hope, Bandai Tamashii Nations. On this side, not a lot of anything. On the bottom, probably says something like, warning, this figure doesn't come with a lot of accessories, but it has a lot of features. Nice picture of R2 right there. R2-D2, A New Hope. A New Hope, excuse me, as my voice decides to crack. As my voice decides to crack on me and my brain goes everywhere. And on the back here, you got nice pictures and features and whatnot. And then you have another warning that probably translates to warning, you may be expecting more repaints of this mold down the line. They're already showing R4-P17, Obi-Wan's female astromech droid co-pilot. So yeah, I'm already excited for her. So yeah, I'm going to be getting R4 when she releases, and I'm excited for R4. But for now, we have R2. I'm happy with R2. On the top, bunch of nothing. So that's basically it for that. And these are like mini Hot Toys. So with that being said, they do come with instructions. Now, I'm gonna keep these guys back here, but 3PO's instructions look like this. So there you have that. And it's funny how they point out to the communicator or the comlink, do not misplace, but that thing is smaller than a grain of rice, or it's about the size of a grain of rice. So, yeah. Yeah, I think Bandai and Tamashii Nations is kind of making fun of us there, because there's no way on God's green earth you can expect us not to lose that unless you glue it into the hand. And here's R2's instructions. So, just tells you about the features and stuff, what to be careful about, paint rub and whatnot. But let's go over 3PO first, because he's pretty cool, although he's not without his flaws. And it's mainly due to the unnecessary stiffness in certain areas, like the head especially. Like, the head is unbelievably stiff. Like, why is the head so stiff? But, we'll touch base on that in a bit. Let me just readjust the camera. I'm still not used to this ball-jointed tripod, but I'm getting used to it. Kind of, sort of. Trying to. There we go. And I got a lot of Black Series figures to review, so like I said, I'm gonna try to get through these two droids and stuff. But very nice sculpt for 3PO. I do like the Figuarts protocol droid sculpt. It looks really, really good. And I do hope they make more protocol droids, because they really did nail C-3PO, at least how he looked in A New Hope. He just looks really good. I mean, I love all the sculpted wires and all the painted details. Because the wires in his abs, the exposed wires, they are sculpted and painted, which is very, very cool. And yeah, one of the issues, and it's not just me, a lot of other people have this issue, but one of the issues is that his eyes are a bit dead. Like, he looks like he's asleep, powered down, whatever you want to call it. But it is what it is. But I still kind of wish they found a way to include the transparent eyes and included some life, but oh well. But yeah, he looks really good. And as far as articulation goes, let me just pop off his faceplate, because he has interchangeable faceplates, which we'll get into the accessories after articulation. But as far as articulation goes, he has a ball joint in the very top, but it's so stiff that at first I thought it was a swivel, because that's what people originally assumed it was. But no, it's a ball joint, and then it goes down to a hinge, and then a swivel into the neck. So it's a ball, then a hinge, then a swivel, and then the neck is on a ball joint at the base. So you do have plenty of movement, but with 3PO being a protocol droid, you're not going to get much out of him. Like, you get up to there, which for 3PO, that's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good for a 3PO. And then you get down to there, which again, for 3PO, that's good. That's pretty good, you gotta admit. And then for the shoulders, you have a swivel here, and you have pretty much a double ball joint, and I did pull his forearms off, and it's really hard to tell, but you can shift this piece around. Like, you can move this, And see, the ball joint that's going into the shoulder isn't going anywhere. So it is on a double ball joint, which is pretty interesting. So let me just slide that back on. So yeah, it's on a swivel and a double, and it's on a swivel and a dumbbell joint, which is pretty neat. And then he has a single jointed elbow, which gets you nearly 90, and then down to there, which is actually really good. I mean, I know people say, oh, he's a protocol droid, he doesn't move that much. Well, even though that's true, this is still a big deal of movement. And then the wrist pegs is the standard Figuarts wrist pegs. You can set them to go up and down like that, or you can move them around to go in and out like that. So you have the option there. He has a double ball joint at the waist, or at the top, and then you have a single joint at the lower part of the torso. So you get a really good range of movement there. And then you get a slight shift down at the legs so that you can get them to sit. And this is something that's really cool because most 3PO figures in 6-inch scale do not sit, other than the Reveltech. So this is really cool. And then the knees bend 90 degrees, so if you have a land speeder and you have this 3PO, you could totally sit him in your land speeder, and there you go. You can have him sit in the land speeder. And yeah, so there you have that. And you have ball jointed ankles, so you can get down to there, up to there, and then a bit of a rocker, not much though, and then you have these little bits that cover the joints, which is really, really cool. So very nicely articulated, very nicely detailed, and the accessories are pretty nice too, although two of his hand options, but a pair of his hands, I don't know what they're for. I mean, they're gripping hands. I just don't know what they're for, but he, like I said, he has alternate face plates. He has the one with the dent because I prefer the dented faceplate. Here's the one without the dent, and the bummer about this is that, and I'm glad I like the one with the dent because I have a scuff mark, and this wasn't over time, this was actually kind of out of the box. I just didn't notice it at first, which is not a big deal because it's not that noticeable, but I did get a bit of a scuff mark there. So, it's a bit of a bummer, but like I said, it's not that big of a deal because it's not that noticeable. And he has two communicator holding hands, which I glued the communicator, or the comlink rather, in the left hand because he used it in the left hand more than the right. And it really should have been molded in both hands, honestly. I mean, I don't know why they made it a separate piece, but whatever. And I mean, real quick, just to show you, he can hold it. It's right there in his hand before I try to drop it. But it's there, it's in his hand. I'm sure I don't have it in all the way, but, you know, if I try to push it in any more, it would scuff up the paint, and you could kind of see it. The paint try to scuff itself some. So I tried to put it in there the best I could without damaging it. And then he comes with these two gripping hands, which, again, I have no idea what these are for, but, I mean, I don't know what these are supposed to grip onto, but, hey, they're there, so, you know, but, they, just to, show you how it works, they don't, there's no, mushroom peg, so, they just slide on and off, kind of like the Mafex figures. Like, if you've seen my Joker review, you'll know what I mean, so, there's that. But yeah, there's 3PO, and let's quickly get to R2 because I'm running out of time on my camera, and I need to review at least one more figure before I run out of recording space. Although I'm technically reviewing 2 figures in this review, but still I wanted to kind of make this a double review. And then another, well, I wanted to do this review, and then I wanted to do another figure review, and then if I could do a quickie review of like the Imperial Stormtroopers. So, but here's R2, and I love this figure. Like, if you have the Hasbro Black Series R2, you might as well just get this one. And if you have the Mafex R2 and the Bandai R2, don't get rid of them. Keep them. They have purposes, but there's a new sheriff in town. This one's a good R2 as well. But he has wheels on the bottom first and foremost, so he can roll around. As you hear the rattling. So there you have that. And just very nicely detailed. He has some weathering on his treads, on his feet, so it's very cool. I mean, it's going to be on his treads because that's what's on the ground. I mean, it's not like the rest of him is going to be on the ground. I love the detail on his power bus cables, on his feet. I like the detail on his power cells. Just everything is very nicely done. The heat exhaust ports right here, and also on the front, right there. Just everything. The power couplings, very nicely done. He is just an amazing R2, and yeah, and articulation-wise, let's go over that real quick. He has a swivel dome, swivel projectors, which I guess they would have gone for ball-jointed projectors, but there's a gimmick in the dome, which we'll go over in a moment, so they couldn't put in ball joints, but they could put in swivels, so not really needed, but I appreciate the effort. So thank you, Bandai and Tamashii Nations. I appreciate the effort. Swivel shoulders and hinged ankles. So there's your articulation there. And the third leg is spring-loaded. So there you have that. And it's very powerful. Like, you could even, like, and this is how it was in the Clone Wars, like, you could get him to stand on his third foot, and he will not budge. Like, that third foot is stable. Well, unless you tap him. But I mean, he's pretty much standing on the wheels for his third foot. But yeah, he will not. That third leg will not retract. I mean, that spring is dead solid. So I don't think that thing's going to loosen up over time. Well, I mean, it will over time, but not anytime soon. So I do like that. That's really cool. But you open this panel and you get his universal computer interface arm, which, if you remember, this is the arm that R2 uses to hack computer terminals, which is really, really cool. I do like this. I like that they included this. I mean, it is the tool that he used in A New Hope, so it would make sense to include it. So there you have that. And then in this compartment, or this panel, you have his fine manipulator arm, which, if you remember, R2 used this arm to play hollow chess with Chewbacca, because if you remember, R2 beat Chewbacca at hollow chess on the Millennium Falcon, and 3PO was like, I suggest a new strategy, R2. Let the Wookiee win. Sorry, I kind of had to do that, but yeah, I mean, yeah, R2 used this tool to play hollow chess with Chewbacca, and yeah, so there you have that. And here you have his little spacecraft linkage and control arms, and this is what R2 uses. He used these to access the escape pod, and access clearance for the escape pod, and on the Tantive 4. But he uses these to help navigate, and these arms are basically used to these are basically used for astromechs who co-pilot starfighters, and then for those who just roll around the base and don't co-pilot starfighters, these two panels are called repair arms. But the processor state indicator, or PSI, on the front and back of R2 change colors, and you do that by pushing this panel. The front PSI changes from red to half red, half blue, to silver for when he's asleep, to blue, and then back to red. And then the one on the back, you push the panel with the projector on top, it changes from, well, the default color right out of the box is red, but it changes from red to silver of the dome for when he's asleep, to yellow, and then to green, and then back to red. And I usually keep it on yellow because that's just what I prefer. And, yeah. And now for comparison, here they are with Kanan and Hera. And we'll put in Sabine. And just as I put in these comparisons, these are really cool droids, and I really do like them. And, just real quick, I'm going to show you how to put the Kenny Baker legs on. And they are a certain way, like this is the right leg, so make sure and there's a little R, so make sure you have the right one on, otherwise it will not work, and watch out for paint rub. But that's basically what it would look like, and then that would be the opposite for the left. But yeah, I love these droids. They are super, super cool. And, yeah, I would totally recommend them, especially the R2. Like, I heard that Hasbro is going to start making protocol droids with posable elbows, thank God. And that's the main reason why I didn't pick up the Black Series 3PO, because the static elbows really annoyed me, because that just limited the articulation. I mean, you pay for these figures to have great articulation, and if they don't have the articulation you want, then it's kind of lame to pay $20 and them not have the kind of articulation you want, if you know what I mean. But I'll be right back. But yeah, I mean, you pay for these figures, and it just, I don't know. I mean, it makes me happy that sorry, I'm a little out of breath because I literally ran from here to the game room so I can get these comparisons. But I'm really glad that they decided to release protocol droids with posable elbows, because it just makes the world of difference, whether you know it or not. And here they are with Kanan, Hera, Sabine, Ahsoka, R2-D2, and BB-8 and R2-D2. They're from the Bandai model kit line, and then the rest are Black Series 6-inch figures. So there you go. And as you can see, they scale just fine, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, I highly recommend these figures. And in case you're wondering, here's a Stormtrooper. There you go. They scale with Stormtroopers as well. So, but yeah, they're great. They're amazing. And I highly recommend them. So, especially the R2. Like, if you have to get one or the other, I'm sure Hasbro will eventually re-release 3PO with the posable arms or the posable elbows. So if you're gonna hold out on that and wait for Hasbro to re-release 3PO, then I'd say just do that, because 3PO is kind of, just wait for Hasbro to redo 3PO, but definitely get R2. Anyway, thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe and like and share, and I'll see you in the next video.